So just before lunch today, the boss man said, go ahead and go home. You can have the rest of the day off. And boy was I excited because I've had some projects a brewing and I've got a video for you. What's up YouTube? I'm Aspie. You're watching The Worth Shop. If you watch the channel quite a bit, you know this old truck. It's a 1985 Ford F350 with the 6.9 IDI diesel engine. We call her Blue Nose. To start out, let's get this old girl fired up and pull it around where all my tools are. Hit the glow plugs. I like to put my glow plugs on a manual button. I like to put most of my stuff on a manual button because I guess I'm just kind of a control freak. If you want to check out a video about installing a manual glow plug button on one of these 6.9 IDIs, there'll be a link in the description. There's also a link in the description how to do it on a 7.3 IDI. Let's pop the hood. Let's get this hood open. Let's go over some of the sensors, solenoids, and electrical plugs on the injection pump of a 6.9 IDI. Starting at the front, we've got this one here, and that is your tachometer sensor or RPM sensor. This one here is the fuel shut-off solenoid. So that turns your fuel on and off. Either lets your truck run or shuts your truck off. This one here is cold start advance. So it advances the timing when you're starting the truck up cold. And then this one here is the high idle solenoid. So this little guy pushes out and holds the throttle open a little bit when the truck is cold. And it's how those usually operate. Right down behind your upper radiator hose, there's a sensor right there. And that sensor senses when the engine is cold, it sends power through to the high idle and the timing advance to open those solenoids. Once the engine warms up a bit, then it shuts off power and shuts off those two things. But as we said, me being a control freak, I want to put them on a switch and so that I can control them my damn self. We're going to take a short piece of jumper wire. We're going to put one side into the hot side of the battery. The other side of that jumper wire, unplug this high idle solenoid there. We're going to touch this positive wire to that high idle solenoid. See that pop out like that? Now, step on the throttle. Too hot. Whenever that throttle, that's your high idle. When you reach power burning, it idles back down. So one of the reasons why I want to put this on a switch is because a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, I don't remember, I was doing a coolant flush in this truck and I had to leave it outside idling to circulate the coolant cleaner, evapor rust, and I wasn't able to idle my truck up to keep that stuff cycling through and rinse it out once I was putting water and stuff. So I want to be able to just flip a switch and idle my truck up so that if I'm doing a coolant flush, or this would also be a good thing to do if you've got a PTO on your truck. Maybe you've got a dump bed like this truck is, or maybe you've got a rollback tow truck. You want to be able to idle it up, or a wrecker. You want to be able to idle it up so that your PTO runs a little faster, gives you a little more power. This would be a good trick to know, so let's get into it. And we'll pull around to the shop. Let's go, choppy dog. The old IDI collection. And there's where we're headed. Over here to my cargo container where I got all my tools and stuff at. Coming into my wire drawer, I think I'm going to run white from the cab And that'll be the color for my high idle. Other things we're gonna need for this project is a toggle switch. You'll also need some of these crimp connectors with the heat shrink tubing already on them. And we're gonna need a set of crimpers and strippers. Out of the container full of tools, we're also gonna grab a drill with a step bit. One of the first steps we're gonna take is removing these screws to get rid of that plastic piece across the bottom underneath the steering column. So let's get those screws out and pull that black plastic down so that we can get to the wiring and find us a place to install our switch. I've decided to put my hole right up here in this plastic piece. So let's get to it. We gotta check the diameter of our switch, and one of the best ways that I've found to do this is to put the bolt over your step bit. That way you know which step to go to. Now I'm probably way too big. Alright guys, so I already know that these wires are hot. They go to my trailer brake controller and up to my manual button for my glow plugs. So I'm going to come off of that wire with one of these little guys. They just crimp around the wire, and then you're able to plug one of these into it. And they're not really my most recommended style of connector, but seeing as how I don't want to remove all this that's already on there, I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. The reason why those are not my favorite of connectors is because a lot of people use them on like trailer light wiring and stuff like that, which gets wet, gets corroded. This is going to be inside of my truck, so I don't have to worry about it getting road grime, rain, splashed puddles, etc., and causing a bunch of moisture and corroding my connection. I think that it'll be all right because it's inside my truck under the dash. I had to step it up to the yellow size from the blue, but there we go. Got that connected on there. Start off with just a little short piece of this white wire, a little less than a foot. And that little short piece is going to go from the connection that we just installed from the hot to the switch. And then we'll run a piece of wire from the switch to that high idle solenoid. So we've got the little short wire made up that's going to send power to our switch. We've got this wire all stretched out here, and I'm going to feed it right down through that grommet here next to the green one, which is my glow plug manual button. Oh, we've got to push down in there a little ways. Let's get inside underneath the, and can we find it? Oh yeah, I think it's that white one right up there. Let's see here. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Now we've got this wire into the truck, and we're gonna go ahead and strip it and add a little end, and so we can connect it to our switch. And shrink that shrink tube down. You can also use a heat gun. Works a little better. You don't have to risk burning it. But I don't got electricity out here where my container's at. So I use what I've got and what works and is convenient for me, which is a lighter. We've already got these zip ties around the wire that runs my manual glow plug button. So I'm going to go ahead and feed this wire through them instead of taking them off. So let's get that done. And there it is. So some people will probably wonder why I didn't just come up to here and straight down. And that's for ease of maintenance. When you want to pull your air cleaner or whatnot, you don't want wires hanging over. So I went ahead and went round and up. This wire here turns on and off my injection pump's fuel shutoff solenoid. And that's kind of a hidden anti-theft in my truck. As well as the fact that my wiring inside this harness over here melted and stuff. So none of that wiring works that goes to my engine. So I've pretty much hot wired everything that I need to make it run. Some of y'all might call me a hack because I fix it like that. But if you want to go out and spend a bunch of money on a new wiring harness, go right ahead. All I used is some connectors and some cheap wire that I had laying around. So I've fixed everything pretty much for free. So hack it is, but cha-ching, I saved money. I've got this the length that I want. Go ahead and clip it. And I'm going to go ahead and add an end so that I can clip onto that high idle solenoid. So we clipped, we stripped, we installed a connector, we shrunk it down with the lighter, we connected it. Now we're back inside the truck. It's starting to get kind of dark out, so I'm trying to hurry up. But basically, this is where we're at. We're going to take the screws out of our switch. We're going to connect it to this wire and to the little short wire that we made. Let's test this guy. We'll get it plugged in here. Okay, so now this switch should have power to it. I'm going to go ahead and start the truck. Oh, gonna need glow plugs. We took too long doing our repairs. 71,000. Okay. Now, let's see if it's got power. And right now it doesn't. Now let's switch it. Now it's got power. And you can hear that it's high idling. So the only thing we've got left to do, guys, is to install this button here up and through the dash. Now let's shut off the high idle. Ain't that cool? Turned on. Shut it off. I'm gonna go ahead and get this black plastic reconnected down here. Alrighty guys, you learned a little something from this video. Give me a thumbs up. If you're interested in other IDI content, give this channel a subscription. We're definitely gonna be working more on the race truck here in the next couple months because we're gonna be going racing come July. I've got another apocalyptic build that I'm starting. We've always got Blue Nose, and then just picked up this low mile one owner 7.3 IDI needing a new transmission. Well, this is the part of the video that I was going to tell you guys. I found a parts truck with the 5-speed and the clutch pedal assembly, the center hub and drive lines, all the stuff that I needed to manual swap, ZF5 swap that truck that I picked up. But the parts truck that I went to look at, it was absolutely beat to shit. Not a window left in it, not a straight body panel left on it. The ignition punched out, and the bed was full of trash. Honestly, I could have dealt with all of the issues except for the fact that they weren't willing to negotiate, not even a tiny bit, on the amount that I was going to have to spend to dump the trash. So, we're driving home empty trucked, and hopefully either we can come to terms and make a deal on that truck in the future, or I'll find another one. So, till next time, believe in what God gave you, take on some projects, build up your self-esteem, build up your self-worth through blue-collar, hands-on stuff, and keep making progress in your life, guys. Till next time, keep building shit.